Okay, if you are watching this instead of doing that one thing you are supposed to be doing, don't worry, you are in the exactly the right place. We're about to break down the real science behind why you procrastinate and give you six, count them, six cheat codes to hack your own brain and finally get stuff done. Let's be real. You have got a deadline, it's probably getting uncomfortably close, right? Maybe just a few hours away, and your brain knows this. It's screaming at you to get started, but here you are. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Well, the answer is probably not what you think. It's not because you are lazy or undisciplined. No, the latest science is pretty clear. Your brain is actually, and I mean actually, trying to protect you from something it thinks is dangerous. And that gets at to the absolute core of this whole thing. Procrastination is not about being bad with a calendar. It's about dealing with a very powerful, very primal emotion, fear. You see, this changes everything. We have been told our whole lives it's a scheduling problem, but it's not. It's an emotional regulation problem. You are not trying to avoid the work, you are trying to avoid the feeling that come with the work. You know, the boredom, the anxiety, what if I'm not good enough feeling. I mean, look at this. This explains it perfectly. On the one hand, you see a complicated Excel sheet, but that ancient lizard part of your brain, the amygdala, it sees a legitimate life or a district. It sees a saber-toothed tiger. It honestly can tell the difference between a modern stressor and ancient predator. So what happens? That threat signal flips the fight or flight switch. But here's the problem. You can't exactly punch a spreadsheet into submission, right? So you can't fight. That leaves one option, flight. You escape to the safe, happy place of TikTok, YouTube, and we're back here. So the big question is, how do we outsmart this ancient programming? Let's start with some real simple cheat codes for all those small learning things that just peel up. Alright, cheat code number one. This one is a classic and for really good reason. It's called a 2-minute rule, and it's beautifully simple. Here is how it works. If a task pops into your head, it will take less than 2 minutes, like answering a quick text or putting a dish in the dishwasher. Just do it right then. Don't even write it down. Why? Because it stops all these tiny unfinished tasks from creating this low-grade ham of anxiety in the back of your mind. Okay, on to cheat code number two. This one is my god for those moments when you just can't even start. I like to call this one a 5-minute miracle, and it's all about breaking through that inshallah. I don't want to. So think back to physics class. Remember, static friction? It's the idea that it takes a way more force to get something moving than it does to keep it moving. Your brain is the exact same way. So you make a teeny deal with it. You say, look, we're just going to work on this for 5 minutes. That's it. You're tricking your brain because the treat seems teeny, and you know what happens almost every single time? 5 minutes turn into 10, turns into 13 because getting started was the hardest part. Alright, let's level up. What about those huge monster projects? The one that feels like they're starting you down. Yeah, we have got cheat code for those too. Our search cheat code basically gamifies your workday. It makes it feel less like core and more like a challenge. You have probably heard of this one. It's a Pomodoro Technique. And yeah, it's named after one of those little tomato-shaped kitchen timers. The cycle is so easy. 25 minutes of focused, no distractions work. Then you have to take a 5-minute break. Get up, stretch, grab a coffee. The whole reason this work is because your brain knows everywhere that little break is just around the corner. It breaks up the endless task into these little manageable sprints, which makes it a way less scary. Now cheat code number 4. This one is a serious game changer. If you do this right, it can literally change feel of your entire day. Mark Twain nailed it with this metaphor. Your frog is that one big, ugly, important task on your to-do list. You know, the one you are most likely to put off. And the rule is simple. Eating the frog first thing in the morning, before you check email, before you scroll anything, just get it down. When you tackle the biggest source of your anxiety head on, you rob it of its power for the rest of the day. Seriously, everything else feels like a walk in the park by comparison. Okay, if your project is too big to be just one frog, what if it's more like a whole swamp full of frogs? Well, that's where our fifth cheat code comes into play. I call this Lego method. The idea is to take those giant terrifying goals and break them down into teeny, non-threatening individual breaks. And this slide just shows you psychologically perfectly. When you write to start a YouTube channel on your to-do list, your brain immediately panics. It's too big. But what if it tasks we draft this 3-sentence welcome message? See, that's not scary. That's a teeny, easy win. And each little win gives you hits of a dopamine, which actually motivates you to click the next Lego piece into place. So we have talked about the tricks for small tasks and the big tasks. But now we get to what I think is the single most important hack of them all, because this one deals with the emotional mess that procrastination leaves behind. This is our last and honest, our most powerful cheat code. This one is that stops that horrible downward spiral of procrastination. It's simply called a self-forgiveness hack. And before you think this sounds too soft and fluffy, you should know this is backed by some very real, very hard data. So get this, studies have shown that when people procrastinate and don't feel super guilty about it, they are way more likely to procrastinate again in the next day. But the people who procrastinate and don't forgive themselves for it, they actually show higher productivity later. It makes sense, right? The guilt just piles on more negative feelings, making you want to avoid the tasks even more. So takeaway here is a simple, but it's not easy. You have to stop cheating yourself up. That guilt trip is a complete waste of your mental and emotional energy. Just acknowledge it. Forgive yourself for being human and focus only on the next right action. Look, you don't have to win the entire week. You don't even have to win the day. All you have to do is focus on one thing, just winning the next hour. And I want to leave you with this idea. You are not a procrastinator. That's not who you are. You are just a person with a very old, very destructible monkey brain that you are learning how to work with. So, as soon as this is over, what's your move? Are you going to use a 2-minute rule, clear out some clutter? Are you going to eat small frog? Or maybe just take a deep breath? Forgive yourself for getting sidetracked and dive back in. The choice is yours. Now, go win the next hour.